Welcome to ENN On Air, Elon News Network's digital news show giving you the stories of today. I'm Alannah Klingsporn.
And I'm Alice Morrissey. Thank you for joining us. Former President Donald Trump secured the presidential race with 292 electoral votes as of 3:28 p.m. on November 6th. Democratic nominee and Vice President Kamala Harris currently has 224 electoral votes. The race came down to two swing states specifically, Pennsylvania's 19 electoral votes, which were called for Trump at 2:24 a.m. this morning, and North Carolina, which was called for Trump at around 11 p.m. on November 5th, giving him 16 more electoral votes. Ballots are still being counted in a number of states around the country. However, Trump has won enough electoral votes for the Associated Press to declare him the winner of the presidential race.
This year, Elon Votes and the Kernodle Center for Civic Life have come together to engage students in political events to increase the percentage of student voters. ENN's Angelina Fantaroni has more on if these events have made an impact.
Being a nonpartisan organization, Elon Votes held 20 election-related events this fall.
Walking into the presidential debate downstairs in Moseley, I've never seen that space so packed. It was in part horrifying because we needed to go get more pizza, but also really exciting that this many students were interested and engaged.
The organization had close to 35 civic engagement ambassadors, working the events and even helping students register to vote.
And so those students have been really busy staffing the Elon Votes office downstairs here in the Moseley Center, as well as a variety of weekly voter registration and absentee ballot events we've had around campus.
According to data from the National Study of Learning, Voting, and Engagement, Elon's voter rate was 25% for the 2018 midterms, when the average voter rate for all institutions was 30.6%.
We took a look at our student voting data from 4 years ago. We took a look at the fact that sometimes students in the business school, sometimes students in the sciences and the communication school are underrepresented in terms of voters.
Members of Elon's Democracy Dialogue Collaborative, a group focused on civic engagement, think students may not vote because they haven't been involved in politics before.
If you live in a society, then you are well equipped to engage in politics. So I think that's one barrier to overcome, is the assumption that you have to be an expert to be able to be involved in politics.
Angelina Fantaroni, ENN Tonight.
Civic engagement events won't stop after the election. The first post-election event was held today, a post-election processing space. Next week, on Tuesday, there will be a panel discussing the results at 4:30 p.m. in East Commons.
ENN's Nolan Williams conducted a focus group where participants volunteered to share their opinions on this year's election season. The session gained insights into everyone's perspectives and concerns of engaged voters.
I sat down with 3 students to talk about their top issues and policies they would like candidates to focus on. Now, let's take a look. One word, describe this election.
Chaotic. Stressful. Complicated.
You said chaotic, Gabby. Could you explain a little bit about that?
I just think it's a little chaotic. Well, because originally Joe Biden was the original candidate, and then he dropped out, and instead his vice president, Kamala, came into the picture. So it's been a little chaotic, especially about policies between both the Democratic and Republican side.
What would you say is the most important issue to you in this election?
I think there are a lot of important issues, but I think I would probably have to go for the abortion, policies for each candidate.
I was going to say abortion rights as well as a woman, but I guess to bring something else into it, I will say the border.
Definitely abortion, international policy, and racial and ethnic inequality.
Well, none of you said the economy, but most polls, when we're polling American voters as a whole, they usually say the economy is their top issue. Does the economy play a part in your voting decision this election?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
And what way? What way are we looking at the economy?
Inflation, definitely.
Yeah.
I personally don't think I want to be paying a lot of money for a house when that time comes.
Yeah. I was gonna say like the future as well. I don't, when I'm ready to have a house and live on my own, I don't want to have that big, what's it, like mortgage. I don't really know much about owning houses, but I don't want to go in debt or, yeah, I'd like to be able to live on my own eventually.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say much, but yeah, no, I think it definitely plays a big part. Just definitely in the future would play a major, I agree, major role.
Is there anything specific that you want to see from candidates or any policy decision in regards to international relations?
Just who's going to most help humanity, not so much just war and just support that. Just bring peace and bring everybody to where they belong and home, you know?
Yeah, same thing. Just whoever is most likely going to just get everybody who is, because I know there are captives right now and it's horrific and those family members just want their family home.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing for me is family's a big part of my life and I sympathize for those people because not having a family member, not knowing what's going on in their life is absolutely horrifying.
From activist groups to local nonpartisan groups, voting was a big topic during this election. ENN's Angelina Fantaroni has more on what one organization has done in the community.
Council of the Alamance County NAACP was active in the local community during election season. Co-advisor of the Alamance County NAACP Youth Council says that the youth are the future of the election, even though they're too young to vote.
The youth chapters did the door knocking. They were instrumental because people are more open when a child comes up to see what they have to say, to look at the handout. So even today, the youth know the platforms, the social media platforms, and they know that their future is at stake.
Ward also says that the new black job is to vote and to take part in politics.
Well, of course, you heard black job, black job, black job. Not going to say from who. And so now we've taken and made it our own. Like voting is our new black job. It's important for us to come out and vote. You know, let it be known that our vote counts. It matters. That we've seen how we've turned elections by coming out and voting.
Members say planning events like marches to the polls was very important during the election period to advocate for the right to vote.
Our right to vote is really important, and we believe that that's one of the things, that's a right that every American should have, the right to vote, and we think that is really important to come up here and show our face.
The NAACP of Alamance County hosted several political action committee meetings during the election season, which, according to their website, are the strongest and most active committees. Angelina Fantaroni, ENN Tonight.
When it comes to political activity on campus, one Elon Jr., Noelle Vaught, finds her peers a little less proactive. Our Fiona McAllister did an exclusive interview with this student who's currently abroad, following up on the First Amendment on campus.
Vaught stood at the Speaker's Corner, a place for student activism right outside of the Mosley Center, holding an upside-down American flag written with the words, "There is no flag large enough to cover up the shame of killing innocent people."
Now, to recap from last year, I just have a couple questions written down. I remember first time I interviewed you, you were telling me that you thought students are politically sleepwalking. Do you still think that way?
I do still believe this generally. I mean, I will say that, like, I've looked at, like, some early voting numbers, and, like, younger people who tend to be students have voted more in, like, the early voting, like, stages than they have in the past, but it's still, like, a very, very small number.
I feel like students here aren't politically active enough. I don't think that students here, you know, like, partially due to it being such a small school, are brave enough, like, you know, to express how they feel.
I remember what you did standing at the Speaker's Corner was like a really huge thing that Elon has maybe never really seen before in the past years that you and I have been here. What prompted you to do that in the first place?
It was kind of a mixture of passion and spontaneity. It wasn't, like, obviously, like, I went through, like, the whole process of, like, getting the things that I needed to do it with, but it was, in all actuality, extremely spontaneous. Like, I just decided to do it one day. There wasn't really any, like, planning put into it.
I would not say that I'm a very patriotic person. I feel like that's pretty obvious, you know? But like, the one thing I do appreciate about this country is that we, at the very least, for now, have freedom of speech here.
I mean, one of my last questions is, would you have any suggestions for students or the university to become more politically active on campus?
I do really think that it's like important for general people to like be at least like aware of politics, because like even if like I mean, I generally hold the position that like even if you don't care about politics, politics still cares about you, and that it does affect you even if you don't really take it into consideration.
And with the upcoming election, Vought says it's important to cast your ballot. Fiona McAllister, ENN Tonight.
Well, that's all we have for you this evening. Thanks again for watching ENN On Air.
For all the news you need to know when we're not on air, visit our website, elonnewsnetwork.com.
And follow us on social media at Elon News Network.
Have a great night, Elon.